Welcome to your super full pink moon in Scorpio, twin flame, divine masculine and divine feminine, and the current union energy reading. And so look at this beautiful reading. It's all here for you. I decided it would also be fun to light some Palo Santo because, I can do that on camera. So, oh, there. Oh, I could have just used the candle. That would have been cool, but I always forget about that. So, great. We've got some good, clean, smoky energy going on. And it's eco-harvested, by the way. Hopefully it says it is. And so, yeah. What else can I say about this moon? Well, Venus and Mercury are conjunct with Uranus in Taurus, and that's cool because it's a lot of love and communication moving towards like this surging place in consciousness, the surge of higher consciousness. Surge as in like not search, but just like that kind of more electrical energy, having to do with like the basic building blocks of life coming to life. And what is the phenomenon of that process? Phenomenon, I get it. Not sure what the difference is between those two words, but anyways, yeah, so it's a really great time to both deepen and heighten your twin flame ascension journey. And for me personally, that has meant going to places that, I wasn't getting what I desired still, like in my mind's eye, so to speak, in my feelings from people in the past. Lots of different relationships, and I realized I was still holding on to some places after watching a Twin Flame Ascension School class with Jeff and Shalia, and Shalia's talking about just like letting herself have the experience of being loved by her biological father and some other things too. But it inspired me to do that not only for that relationship, but for other relationships that I was still experiencing in some way, not feeling good. And so I just gave myself everything that I needed and that I knew would have been right, but that now like feels right within me. And what was also cool about this process, and a part of the reason I wanted to share it, is because you may kind of like, in those gray fuzzy areas, sort of numb out to the fact that you kind of know what would have been like the quote-unquote right thing to do, and be like, well, I don't know, da 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 da. But no, a lot of time there's actually like a real pretty clear like, a person could do this in this situation, but the underlying feeling, of course, is love. But if you can't have expectations, right? But you can give yourself the loving energy of what that kind of next step in an unconditional relationship would have been if the other party were to have carried it on, and know that that's always actually being carried on by everyone's highest self and by God. But that does not mean that you don't put boundaries on people, because you do want to honor their choices, and also you want to respect yourself first and foremost, because you're a divine being and you want to vibe with people that are on their own journey into self-realization, basically, of that as well. And full self-realization includes you and your twin flame together, so hence the twin flame journey. And you're like, let's turn over the cards. So yeah, okay, let's do it. So nice flame, we'll move this over here. Okay, so we're gonna start out with the what's this called again? I'm like totally blanking after saying all that. That was just like a big share, I guess. The Psychic Tarot for the Heart, by Holland. You may be familiar with this deck. It's a really lovely deck. So there it is. So yeah, that's the first card. So I have 2 cards for like the middle, the union energy today, and then just 1 card on either side. And so this card is find balance. And the message of this card is often that you have a lot going on, not too little at all, but actually like you're finding balance, you know, in a full plate. So getting the right balance, let's, you know, just use the analogy of a full meal that you have on your plate, but making sure you have the right proportions of everything that you need. You know, your greens, your protein, the sauce that tastes really good to put over it all, everything else that you need on your plate, not, you know, some other things too, right? And so that can play out in your life, well, actual food and having time to eat, but also are you really able to focus when you're working? And if not, like, where's the other side of the balance there? Are you able to rest when you're supposed to rest? Like last night, I rediscovered my magnesium oil, which is really cool. You know, if that's something that you think you might, this is not medical advice, okay? But magnesium, something a lot of people could benefit from, but make sure, you know. So I'd just been getting the hint in different ways, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And it really did help me relax a whole lot, and it's a really good way to, you know, absorb it, just like through your epidermis. I feel like I was not expecting to like go off on this topic, but that's okay. So yeah, like that really helped balance me out, you know, and I really needed that. And so maybe there's something like that in your life, that, and it might be something you already have in your cupboard, or it might be something that you've been wanting to go get for yourself, or both. And that's the other thing about finding balance. Can you find balance between fully utilizing what you already have and not being afraid to take, you know, sometimes it requires a little bit of a leap of faith to fully invest in yourself, or to just fully care for yourself. Maybe investment even equals time for you. Like you'd think time would be better spent doing other things, but the truth is, you know, you need yourself in order to be able to do those things. So taking care of yourself is very important too. But obviously you're not going to spend 24/7, you know, in a face mask and like watching movies either. That's not self-care. That's just like, that wouldn't be balanced. So yeah, this is really giving to your union, and so you and your twin flame are both finding balance at this time too. So if you feel like you might be more in upheaval, or, you know, healing through blocks or realizing new things, like you don't necessarily know, and maybe you do know where, you know, what your twin flame is doing in terms of their inner work, because sometimes, you know, it's a very inner process. And so like even in communicating with them, there might be something there where just having compassion and unconditional love, and being like, just trusting God that they're like working their own spiritual process, basically. And my cat Luna agrees. She just like gave a little meow. So and it's number 2 for union. So ta-da, look at that, that's cool. So let's move on to the Divine Feminine's crystal card. The crystal angel card is Amber. Give it to God. Give it to God. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, release this situation to God for healing and answers. So yeah, you can inhale and exhale too if you want. That was good. And it is, you know, the color of this card reminds me of the solar plexus and how important it is to take, you know, your full breaths when you need to. You're obviously like gonna have different ways of breathing at different times, but to not cut yourself short of your own breathing is actually like a very basic important thing. And sometimes it's these really basic things, like how come I'm not doing a good job. I actually remember my guitar instructor telling me this, and he was kind of joking but kind of serious, and you know, he would just be like, are you breathing, as I was like learning chords. And you know, half of the time I wasn't really breathing fully, so I'm sure like that was a common thing, you know, when you're trying to learn something new. It's like you're you might not be like doing it from the real basic place of like still being at peace with yourself. And if you're at peace with yourself, then yeah, you shouldn't need to hold your breath, unless of course you're underwater and you know, assuming you don't have an oxygen tank, and then your piece is in your swimming, and when you take the breath, and that's kind of a different scenario, or you know, there's other things. But yeah, like the point is that it's important to go back to those basics and to give things that are not in your control to God. And you may realize as you do that how bad it felt to control, and so when you go back and try to control things that previously you didn't realize how bad it felt to control, it feels so bad you like can't even do it. And so you're really stuck either having to surrender or feeling very bad controlling and calling a more contrast. And so this card is just like really compassionately saying to the divine feminine that, you know, it's safe to surrender here. And, you know, so it says, yeah, take a deep breath, and on the exhale, release this situation to God for healing and answers. So also trust that God is coming through to you, and this is an opportunity to deepen your relationship with the divine and like really listen for what it is that God has to say to you, maybe through another person, maybe through some vision, maybe just very directly in your heart, or all of these possibilities, you know. So there's multiple ways that you can receive healing and answers, but when you're receptive, you'll receive them much more easily. So that's the Divine Feminine's card for this full moon. Divine Masculine's card is Control Issues, yellow jasper. So utilize your God-given strength and power instead of fearing that others may try to control you. So sounds like both the DM and the DF are working through releasing control and, you know, your own way. This is a more direct, you know, message about control. This is about like the other side of that, which is surrender. So it seems like the Divine Feminine is, you know, in the surrendering, and the Divine Masculine might be working through, you know, like perhaps the same block or something, you know, at your core that is the same, but maybe it's manifesting in different ways, seemingly on the outside, maybe not. But yeah, like just releasing control. So sometimes that's uncomfortable because you have to, like, you know, love yourself and dissolve the block. And this is also giving you the opportunity to call upon your strength and your power, and also to release like people-pleasing patterns, not be afraid what other people think of you. And this can be like a big deal for some Divine Masculines, really like caring too much what other people think of your persona, or even of your masculinity itself, thinking that you need to, I don't know, like be a certain way or do certain things, carry on a certain image to be masculine in people's eyes. And that just, if it feels bad, then it's probably not true, unless, you know, you just have a block there. But you don't want to feel bad, so you're gonna have to like heal either way if you don't want to feel bad, and find out what's there. And sometimes too, like, you have to let something go, feel good there, and it may be that the thing that felt bad before is very similar to the thing that feels good. For instance, your style, you know, like, could be you have a more flamboyant style that you want to present yourself with, but you know, you kind of compartmentalize it, And so your style's starting to feel bad, but once you release that, you could call in like your true style. Might be very similar or different to the one you currently have, or maybe you're already doing this very well in your life. So this is an example, and of course, like, it could be something completely else that's like applicable, and life purpose related to. But this is the full moon too, so it's speaking to the fruits of your labor and kind of like this detoxing energy. So it's like you've earned the right here to step into your power and to release what is, you could say, toxic, no longer serving you, and say goodbye, bye. And if that involves saying bye to certain people or relationships, then yeah, you gotta man up. And sometimes just putting a boundary, right? Because sometimes you don't really know what's on the other side of a boundary. Sometimes that can actually deepen a relationship, and sometimes that can really reveal that it's time to say bye. So, and when I say relationship, of course, like your twin flame is your romantic relationship, but first of all, if you are in a karmic, you think, or soulmate relationship that you are working your way out of, then sure, like, this could apply to that. But I also mean like familial and friend relationships, because those can also carry a lot of weight, which could be good or bad. I mean, they're just they're also very meaningful. We are all one, but not the same as being one with your twin flame. That's a different level of oneness. And the right choice. Well, that's a nice card. I like it when that card comes up, because it's an indicator that you are making the right choice, that you can make the right choice, that you have made the right choice. So it just depends on like where you're at in your choice making process. Maybe it's something particular, maybe it's a few things coming together for you, and it could be that you're not quite sure just yet. But really do pay attention to the message of this card and go all in with your union, because this is the union card. So you're also making the right choice in saying yes to your union, and maybe that's something that in this particular place at your core, in your consciousness, in the very center of your heart, that you haven't quite like been able to go there yet until now. And so you're making this choice in this particular place, and this particular place matters, because maybe you've made it in other areas of your life, you've chosen union and stuff, but this is taking you deeper into that choice, and it's a nice confirmation. It's a nice nudge forward, and a nice like something to relax into. Also, it's like a peaceful message, really bringing you some comfort, like a nice divine hug. So yeah, just embrace your oneness with the divine, with your twin flame, and with your higher self too. Like, the person that you truly desire to become is going to be revealed to you the more you move towards that desire. And as it's revealed to you who you are, you just like become the person who you are. And that's also a really cool process. And then that will also help with, both things mentioned on both sides of these cards, with just releasing control, giving other things to God that you are not in your control, boundaries, all these things. And yeah, that's about it. I'll read the Rumi poem that goes with number 29 here. This is the Rumi Oracle Guidebook, by the way, by Alana Fairchild. So, 28, okay, 29. Oh, it's a long poem. There we go. Well, it's not really long. You can see it. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so stay close to those who know about the heart. Choose the shade of a tree that is in constant bloom. Don't meander aimlessly among the herb sellers and potion vendors. Go directly to the shop that sells nothing but sweets. Don't sit waiting by every boiling pot to have your plate filled. Not every boiling pot is cooking what you want. Not every sugar cane is filled with sugar. Not every down has an up. Not every eye has vision. Not every sea contains pearls. Yeah, I love that. So we'll just read a little bit here. This oracle comes with a message for you. In your heart, you know what holds meaning for you. You may or may not have a grand vision to go along with the meaning yet, but deep within, you know what is without value and what holds value for you. You were born with those values intact in your heart, and whatever confusion has arisen for you along the way is just where the values of others have transfused into your own blood. Dun dun dun. That was my addition, that dun dun dun. It is time for a transfusion of holy light into that blood to be cleansed and purified, restored to its integrity, and filled with passion for what is rightfully yours, your unique passion and purpose. Oh, I love that. So I think that paragraph really sums it up perfectly, ties everything together. Interesting that it's talking about purifying blood and like the super pink full moon. Yeah, I don't know, that's really cool, you know, like bringing light even into like your very veins. And it kind of, you could see that going on in this card too in a way. So yeah, like, you know, you are the light. You have the Christ consciousness. You embody the Christ consciousness within yourself, and so you can choose that. And so that is the right choice, and it's a really beautiful choice. And that goes right along with your harmonious twin flame union, and continuing and deepening that process wherever God is calling you to. So that's going to do it for the reading. Enjoy the full moon energy going on, and check out the links below if you'd like to work with me, if you'd like to order a reading, do a discovery session, find out more how I can help you work through blocks, and also Jeff and Shalia's work for your harmonious twin flame union. It's all below. So yeah, check it out, and hit the like and subscribe. Subscribing really helps if you like the content. And so yeah, peace be with you, and enjoy your week, and I will see you next time. Bye.